Hello, welcome back to our show. You
just made the blooper reel.
Take two. Hello, I'm Reginald Bullock, and I hope you enjoy the episodes that you might have been watching prior to. And if you haven't, tune in to watch Living Life with me, Reggie B, and
Trey Wilder here. Hope y'all are having a good one. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Reggie, this is a good day. It's a good episode. I feel very positive about this.
You feel positive about this?
I feel very positive about this. I ain't gonna hold you. And look, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm wrong, I apologize. Please forgive me. I think that's a nice little touch off of that. So give me a little.
Well, you know, in the old school, they would say, charge it to the head and not charge it. They say, you know, if I ever missed anybody, if I didn't say your name, well, you know how you go name and you charge it to the head. You know, if I missed you, charge it to the head and not the heart.
You can forget.
So we say some stuff. Forgive us. Please forgive us. Charge it to the head and not the heart. Speaking of forgive.
So, I mean, when we're talking about, you mentioned forgiving yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I was kind of saying that earlier on, like, okay, well, you need to forgive yourself. How hard is that in comparison to forgiving someone else?
How hard is it?
Because I think you have to, like, I guess, be open about what you did wrong to you, and that can be tough. Like people lie real quick about somebody else. So imagine how they will lie on themselves. Like I would say
I don't necessarily even forgive myself.
Really?
Yeah. If I really were to think about all of the mental gymnastics that I go through,
mm-hmm.
can't summarize that and say I forgave myself. I think I would look at it as it's a journey
mm-hmm.
of growth and discovery,
mm-hmm.
of overcoming some things.
Mm-hmm.
That's not forgiveness, because to me, if I'm a lot more mature at age 50 than I was at age 21,
mm-hmm.
and I did some things at age 21 that I shouldn't do,
yeah,
and at age 50 I recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I forgiving the 21-year-old, or am I learning from my experiences? And based on that journey, I now have reached a new level of awareness, so I just see it different.
So, like, I'm glad you said, you know, you're learning, you're experiencing, because I did write it down as just living life. So can you really forgive yourself if you're just living life? However,
you can say you forgive yourself.
I mean, like, so to your point, right? You're experiencing stuff.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I think we also know too. Like, if I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and indulge in a little drugs, a little cocaine. You know what I'm saying?
People do it all the time.
Yeah, but you know the risk involved in that as well. So if I get hemmed up over that, I have to forgive myself. I have to apologize to myself because I made a stupid decision in this moment.
So is that apologizing to yourself or cursing yourself out for making a stupid decision?
You can end the curse out with an apology or forgiveness.
I mean, you know, I grew up in a different time period,
right?
When cocaine was pretty much out there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows the Studio 54 was where you went to do cocaine and party. It's in the bathroom, whatever, right? In other environments like that. So did they know or feel like it was wrong? No. During that time, smoking, you know, herb, chiba, weed, joint, doing cocaine, and it was all under the umbrella of fun.
Yeah.
And that was just the party atmosphere.
Okay.
Right? Everybody knew. I mean, if that's the case, then, you know, between Rick James and Richard Pryor, you know, they had enough cocaine to buy a city.
Yeah.
Right? So how come they didn't how come they're not in prison for life, right?
Okay.
Because, you know, it was just looked at differently. And so therefore, if it's looked at differently, and you know that it's having a negative impact on your body, but you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong because it's your body.
Okay. So how about then in a scenario where, and I feel like people can relate to this too, although this does not really apply to me, but like at one point in time it did. So like when you're young, well, no, the reason why I say it is like, so like I used to have
at one point in time it did apply to you.
In high school, like early college.
You said this doesn't apply to you.
It doesn't apply to me now.
You are not the same human being.
No, I
high school. That
like, so all right, so I'll say what it is, right? Yeah. So like, no, I mean it's a valid point too, though. But not like I wanted to go to the NBA, right? Every kid wanted to at some point in time. And for a split second, I was like, dang, maybe I shortchanged myself. I'm clearly not in the NBA. But the flip side, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I really want to be too, though. Like, for a second, I was apologizing to myself. I'm like, oh, damn, bro, you're lazy. Like, again, I was 5'2", I was chubby. I didn't think I was going to make it to the league, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know I was going to turn out 6'2", 6'3", with a 6'6" wingspan. You know, if there's an NBA team who might want to holler at me, though, I got y'all. But, like, I didn't know that was going to happen. So I didn't try as hard. When I was younger, I was actually 7 years old playing against 10-year-olds. So I'm looking at that like, maybe I could have had something maybe. And I love watching basketball. Should I forgive myself? And nowadays I'm like, nah, I don't. Because I actually enjoy basketball, not the NBA. Like, I like the NBA, but
I mean, what's the purpose of forgiving yourself?
Because I feel like I shortchanged myself. I feel like my life could have been different.
That, but what's the purpose? I mean, what is
the purpose?
So if you forgave yourself, what's the outcome?
The purpose is not like lessons learned. So with my shows in general, I learned that, okay, well, back then I should have practiced more. I should have been more diligent because I would have been Steph Curry. Just saying. Like, so now if I take that same mindset, I'm a young Trey again. Because I found something that I'm actually passionate about, or refound it, I guess, reestablished it. So with that being said, I saw what I did when I was younger to now. I didn't make it to the NBA because I skimped on some things.
So you've forgiven yourself for your learning journey?
I forgive myself for on skimping on these on skimping on like the practices that I should have done, or like the workouts.
Did you know you were skimping at the time?
Yeah. Like back then I knew what I needed to do. I just didn't want to put in that level of effort. So that's why I was like, I apologize to myself. But then on the flip side, like I said, I don't necessarily know if I really want to be in the NBA. It sounds nice. It sounds cool. From a day-to-day perspective, though, like all that crap that they got to deal with, like, you know what, just watching it and analyzing it don't sound that. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to hoop with NBA players on a consistent basis. Oh, man. But I don't know. I feel like there might be a different avenue that I might want to tackle. But like from that vantage point, like I was trying to apologize to myself. I thought I let myself down a little bit. But nowadays, I don't think about that as much.
So
is that a moment where I guess you should forgive yourself, in your opinion?
In my opinion. So I'm gonna set it up this way. Currently working on a certification that was called Positive Intelligence.
Oh.
And in positive intelligence, you have stages and saboteurs.
Okay.
The sages are the good, the saboteurs are the bad. 100% of everything that goes on inside of you, like that, your feelings and everything else, is your fault. 100%. So when you apologize to people for your impact on them, no, they received it however they received it, and it's their fault how they received it. But the point is, you can sabotage yourself with all of this information and cause issues. Like what happened when you were 21, you're reflecting on and everything right now. You can sabotage your own brain right now with the saboteur. So you have a saboteur inside of you.
Yeah.
And you can allow that saboteur to have power to sabotage. Then you have the sage. You could allow the sage to have power to strengthen you and help you understand the gift that is there to be received from what happened at age 21.
Right.
So you can either beat yourself up from age 21 and say, I need to forgive myself. Or the sage can say, these are the 3 different gifts that came out of that experience. And then you're grateful of the experience. And you're grateful for that time. And you're grateful for who you have become, which you would never have become if it wasn't for that experience. So therein lies where, when you said me personally, I'm forgiving myself. I'm thanking myself. See, I can thank myself for my experiences that have made me who I am.
Yeah.
Or I can regret my experiences. But they still made me who I am.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I guess when I say forgive, it's not a stance of I don't like me.
But we can look at it like a person that goes to prison, right? for felonies. Let's just keep it at that level of
Right.
felonies instead of the specifics. Over time, they may come to recognize that which they did, they feel bad about, they have remorse, and they're asking for forgiveness, and they want to forgive themselves. There's nothing wrong with that if that works for them.
Okay.
Right? So if somebody forgiving them allows them to have all that weight off their shoulders, and they need that, that's one thing. If a person actually says, I forgive you, and it causes that emotional reaction of all that weight coming off the shoulders, that's good. If the person say, hell no, I ain't forgiving you, da 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 da, and it sends them into a depression, well, that's cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
Who's at fault? The person for not forgiving them, or the person that caused the incident that put this person in a position that they're now being asked to forgive, right? So it's still their fault.
Yeah.
So regardless, you get to have the sabotaged person receive this person saying, "No, I ain't gonna forgive you," or you could have the sage person says, "You did good. At least you told them, you did everything that was in your power to do, and now you're released from that because you have learned, you've grown, and you've done everything in your power to say what you had to say. Certain things you can't change. If I shot you in the leg, I can't unshoot you. You're always going to have that bullet hole in your leg forever. And therefore, that goes back to the other point. Like, if you don't want to forgive me because I shot you in the leg, and every time you look in the leg, it brings back a negative experience. All right, then you can say, no, I don't forgive you. May you rot in hell, right? Now, when that person say, may you rot in hell, they just transferred more negative energy to you. How you receive it, you could be that sage side saying, you know what? He's saying that because he's hurt. He's saying that because he's mad. He's saying that because of the things that I did to him and his family and all the stuff it caused them. And I understand that. I understand this person's mad at me for life. And I'm sorry for it. But now how do you move on? Because that's today.
Yeah.
What about tomorrow?
Yeah.
See, the hardest part is transitioning from yesterday to today and tomorrow in the forgiveness of it.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow is going to come, hopefully. And when it does, are you still stuck on yesterday?
It's a different day.
Or
nice little journey.
Are you enjoying today, looking forward to tomorrow, which becomes today, and today becomes yesterday? When you are able to understand that mathematical absolute, and you just accept that, then that's going to a different level of awareness. It's like saying, forget yesterday. I am where I am. I know where I could have been had I done what I did not do. Tell me, friend, what can I do today to be where I want to be tomorrow?
Yeah.
Now that right there is the summary of everything that we're saying. Just like if a person tells you to forgive somebody, right? All right. But the middle piece where it says, tell me, friend, what can I do today to be where I want to be tomorrow? Me telling you to forgive somebody does not help you understand what you can do today to be where you want to be tomorrow.
Right.
It's just a word. And then the forget piece, right?
Yep.
So if I say forget yesterday, well, let's qualify. The qualification. Forget 21-year-old basketball player who wanted to go to the NBA. You are where you are, Trey. You know where you could have been had you done what you didn't do.
Yeah.
So at this point in life, what can I tell you today to help you be where you want to be tomorrow? That's the importance of it. And that goes far beyond words of forget and forgive. It gets into the meat of how do you become the best version of yourself?
Yeah. And that's why I kind of want to talk about this part, because I know there are like a whole bunch of athletes out there who might feel that same thing.
What's it?
They work hard, and theirs is actually a lot more valid. They work hard, they didn't get to their end goal, which was the pros. And it's like,
but there's so many elements in there that goes back to what I say. I know where I could have been had I done what I did not do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say to all the athletes out there, I get you should be in the NFL, NBA, and hockey, and all these other, but also think about all the things that you did not do.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, down to even listening to your parents, down to showing up in school.
Yeah.
I was that kid that was on the basketball court 7 days a week. There were times when I went to high school and we would show up at the basketball court at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 o'clock at night, we still playing.
Mm-hmm.
And we just skipped school the whole day. We played ball. Yeah, well, I did a lot.
Well, I would have. I couldn't.
I did.
I would have got beat.
And so to the point is, I didn't do all of the other stuff that I was supposed to do.
Right.
And a lot of right. So when you're not in the NBA or you're not in the NFL, some of it is because you just didn't do what you could. Now, it doesn't mean that you knew what to do. There's a lot of people out there who didn't achieve their goal because they didn't have the right training, the mentorship, the education, the information, or the sponsorship to help them, right? They just try and do it on their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
LeBron didn't get seen just because he's LeBron showing up. He got seen because other people were out there helping him.
Yeah.
Right? And so to that end, that's the sad piece, right? Like, oh man, I knew. It's like me being, the Grandmaster Flash or the Jazzy Jeff of the world. It's like, okay, I started when they started. Mm-hmm. And my skill sets were kind of like their skill sets at the time. But they became famous and I didn't. Why? There's a lot of stuff, hindsight, I didn't do right. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is I didn't have sponsorship. Mm-hmm. I wasn't taught that it's not always what you know, but who you know to get to where you want to go. I didn't know that. So I thought it was all me. I'm so damn good that I'm going to be this dude. Mm-hmm. Well, I forgot about building. I didn't even know you needed to build relationships. And I didn't know how to build relationships. So for all of those people out there, forget yesterday. It ain't coming back. The one thing you will never, ever, ever get back. Once it's gone, it's time.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's so true. So then let me ask you, because we've talked about a lot, right? We've talked about forgiving others, forgiving yourself, seeking forgiveness. Which one's tougher? I think
depends on who you are.
For you, which one's tougher? Out of curiosity.
Asking for forgiveness, seeking forgiveness,
or forgiving yourself.
Myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think forgiving myself is the easiest.
Really?
Because I know who I am, and I have grown and matured to a level of awareness and understanding that I control my chi.
Okay.
I control my energy to the most extent possible. I'm conscious of that.
Yeah.
I'm conscious of the difference between positive and negative energy. Mm-hmm. And so I repel all negative energy, and I receive all positive energy, and I try to have an aura and spirit about me of positive energy. Mm-hmm. So that's a journey, right? And so to that extent, I have mastered it at a level that I wish I had mastered it when I was in my 20s, but it took that time to get there. So that part's easy because I know me. So I'm not even trying to forget me.
Okay.
Right? Okay. I understand me. Now, I still do bad things, and when I do, it's like, but even that, whatever the consequences that come with that, they're my consequences because I did that action. I'm not going to be in denial or lying to myself. You didn't do that. No, I did that. Interesting. You know what I mean? I did that. And it's like we do stuff that you hope you never get caught.
Yeah.
When you do get caught, how do you handle it, right? Do you be like, got me? You know what I mean? Or, we all lie.
Yeah.
So, but now, seeking forgiveness, I don't really seek forgiveness because that's me putting too much energy into somebody else. And I'm trying to build me.
I get that.
I'm trying to get myself to a higher level of awareness as a human being,
right?
That I'm on a different plane of understanding in this universe.
Okay.
Right? And so the level of knowledge and capabilities and thoughts that I'm trying to get to means that if I'm seeking forgiveness, it's like, okay, what if that person goes over here? Do I get to chase them and then they move over here? Do I get to chase? I ain't doing that.
Okay.
If an opportunity came where, like you said, ask for forgiveness, because you said ask, seek, and it's almost like seek, ask, and find, right? But the point is, you already have it. So asking forgiveness is different than seeking. So asking for forgiveness means you've already processed everything that you need to process, or you processed something that caused you to reach a point where, all right, I'm going to approach this person and ask for forgiveness. That is a deliberate action.
Okay.
That, it does take energy, right? Because it's like double touch, right? When do you jump in?
Right.
Because they may be still holding a grudge and mad. It's just not the right time. And sometimes you go to, it ain't the right time. I don't feel like talking to you, right? Now, when a person says, I don't feel like talking to you right now. Yeah, but I want to talk to you. That's seeking.
Okay.
Yeah, but I told you, man, get out of my face, right?
Okay.
You did this to me. I hate you, right? Yeah, but you need to listen to me.
So seeking is more begging. You begging. Okay.
I don't want to use the term begging. I think it's seeking.
I got a little desperation when I got out of that vibe when I heard you saying that's how I would view someone in that moment, because you're more desperate. I'm just calling a spade. You did someone wrong. You're seeking out the apology, the forgiveness. You're probably going to be a little more desperate than the other person.
That's the word, but I think it's, as opposed to it being desperation, you've come to the conclusion that you want to ask for forgiveness, and they don't want to receive it. You want them to hear you. They don't want to hear you. That's not desperation. That's just you've come to a conclusion that I want to fix this. Yeah. They're like, no. Yeah, but I want to fix this. I want to try to bring this to conclusion. No. That's not begging. That's you just trying to get your energy to finish what you started. Okay. So begging's on a whole different level. But that's just you trying to get that energy out because that was your intent. Okay. Now you can't achieve the results of your intention. Yeah. That's not begging. Okay. But at some point, when do you stop seeking? Right? And so, therefore, to me, before you're seeking, you're asking, right? Even though in the Bible they say it's different. They say seek, ask, and knock. But the point is, you are asking right then and there. It could have been a seeking thing to get there, but I think the amount of energy it takes to be one-on-one with a person, to ask for forgiveness, okay, kind of, you had to get ready for that. Okay, so it's the asking for me. I hear that because you can't control. I hate not having control, and I feel like if I'm asking you for forgiveness, control of what? Just in general, I don't like having. I'm okay with not being in control of stuff, just in general. So control of everything associated with you, or controlling other people. I would say all, myself. So you hate not being in control of other people. I do, but I understand I can't do that. So I just accepted it. But it's like I wish I could. But then you can just move through life a lot easier. But you can't though. So that's just one thing you have to deal with. So from that vantage point, I understand asking for forgiveness. I'm torn because sometimes I feel like it's harder to actually give. It is. All of it's hard. Yeah, and then I also forgiving myself because I am my biggest critic. I don't know not one person out there who will tell you more negative stuff about me than me. I promise you. So I don't know which one I want to land on right now. But why is it hard in the first place if you have a full understanding of who you are, whose you are, and you are in control of your thoughts and your brain? Well, because like you said too earlier, we're still growing, we're still learning. So that I'm still on that journey. I think I know me, but right. Every once in a while you get a little question mark, like, whoa. And to that extent, it makes it hard, right? But it still goes to, all right, so what now? What? Yeah, no, that's true. I think I'm gonna say I don't want to do the same one you did. I think forgiving others might be my answer. So which one's harder? You don't want to use the same one I did. I don't want to be a copycat. I don't want to be a copycat because we had 3 to give, 3 answers to choose from, and I think
giving.
No, I don't look at it as we had 3 answers to choose from.
Well, I gave 3 initially. That's what
you said what's the hardest.
Yeah, out of those 3 that I listed off, asking people for forgiveness, giving forgiveness again, or forgiving yourself.
So instead of me choosing which one, I process who I am, and then who I am aligned with whatever that was. I didn't choose anything. You put 3 options out there, but I didn't choose none of the 3.
I thought you said ask.
No, I asked. I said ask is my energy piece, right? And so you heard me go through the process of understanding who I am,
right,
and where my energy is, and therefore now you align it with the 3 definitions that you gave.
See, when I did that,
and that's not choosing. That's just me being who I am. And I said that meaning that you don't need to think about choosing one that I didn't choose. You need to be thinking about who you are, and then whichever one of those 3 align with the hardest or not so hard, is you opening your eyes and seeing where you are, as opposed to be like, all right, well, Reggie chose that one, so I'm going to eliminate even thinking about that one. Focus on the other 2.
I see what you're saying.
That's what you just did.
No, so I didn't. So I went through all of them, like similar to what you did.
You said I'm not.
I just didn't want to pick the final answer, because I would have to choose.
But what if the final answer is the same as mine?
I don't think it was. I actually, when I looked at how it seems easier for me to ask for forgiveness, because I at least understand.
Wow. Yeah, break it down.
So I understand what I did wrong, and I think I'm a little bit more accepting of, all right, well, if someone doesn't want to deal with me because of what I did to them, that's understandable. That's logical. I can't, change that. If I cause myself problem, I hate that. And then it's so we said ask, seek, and then forgive. Depending on what you did, bro, you might just not get my
ask, seek, and you forgive yourself.
Forgive myself. So in terms of forgiving myself,
that's hard.
That's really tough for me sometimes. And then forgiving others, I can, but it depends on what they do too. Me asking for forgiveness, I know what I did. So I'm going into this with you might get rejected, champ. This might be an L for you. So other ones though, I have to control, I have to decide. It's how toxic are you to my environment? How much stress has this really caused? So for me, it might be tougher because there's less, or there's more thought that I have to consider. Whereas if I'm approaching somebody, hey, here you go. No, thank you. I appreciate that back. Now I got to sit down and think, all right, how does this person fit in with my life? Or if they should fit in my life, where? Because there's buckets, there's levels to this. So again, it's the whole thing with me when I got to decide, all right, where should I put them? So that's why I say, you kind of helped, but in reality, I really just said, all right, well, you went that one, cool. That's probably my 3rd one anyway. So that kind of helps out. But I did go through all of them to see which one did apply the most. That's why I say it's tough, because I ended up having to choose, because it felt like I had 3 buckets literally to choose from.
So remember I said that from a positive intelligence perspective, you have a saboteur, and you have a sage.
Yep.
And you said the hardest thing is to forgive yourself.
I thought it was forgiving others. I think was what I said. Forgiving myself, it might be a little easier.
Well, that's not what you said. So
okay. So my answer is it's harder to forgive others.
Okay.
That. So that's the one that I'm choosing.
Because I was hearing it different based on the way you set it up.
Okay, my fault. I apologize. Yeah. So my answer is the one it's harder to forgive others.
Okay.
Because I can forgive myself a little easier than I can somebody else.
All right. Because that was confusing, because you said you beat yourself up more than anybody.
Oh, I do. Yeah. But that's why. I get. I see how you got it. Okay.
All right. Well, then that makes sense. So forgiving somebody else is hard. And that's just where you are in your journey. You haven't had enough experiences cause you to say, I don't need to do this. It's just taking too much of my energy.
It feels like it's getting there though, but at the same time, I feel like I get a nice little boost every time someone else does something dirty. So
it is. That's the adrenaline rush, man. Maybe even it's translated into being dopamine, that it actually feels good for you to hate somebody.
You know, sometimes, hey, you do get like,
kind of like yelling at a telephone.
yeah, it is a nice little stress reliever. Like, yeah, it do help out sometimes. Sometimes, every once in a while. But you can't let it control you, though.
Right.
That's the thing. So it's like, I try to make sure, all right, I can be a little mad. I can be a little hurt. But like, I don't want it to control me because that instance, that moment does not define me.
Right.
So I don't want it to. So that's the reason why I just try to.
So a lot of other people probably use the term forgive and mean it. Right? In other words, I forgive you. And in their walk in their spirit, and sometimes in their religion, they're taught to do that. They're trained to do that. They've read about it. The Bible says forgive, and therefore they forgive. So how does that enter into our understanding of forgive? Because it is kind of different. Because to them, that the word forgive is a powerful word.
Yeah.
Because they got it from the Bible, and the Bible is the word. And therefore, if they are following the word of God to forgive, then in their mind, then they did the right thing, and they're fine with that. And they can let it go. Because spiritually, that's how they have been trained, taught, raised, believed, and it's okay.
I'm curious, because going to the religion point, like you're saying, like, you know, people are taught about religion, right? What happens to those people who, I guess, don't necessarily believe in religion anymore, but were taught it at a young age? Like, is there going to be resentment towards people? Are they looking now for someone to like ask for an apology, or are they like? I'm curious what their thought process are, because like in religion, it's an investment that you're making. So now that you don't have that investment anymore, you might feel like you might have been lied to. So I kind of it kind of applies to me. Like I was, you know, my granddad was a pastor. I was always in the church, but then you also see some of the things behind the scenes, and it's like, you know, there are ugly aspects everywhere. But that was kind of a turn off for me personally.
And so therefore, initially you're raised in an environment of the church, and you follow all of the teachings of the church in the Bible.
Well, you try.
And then at some point you transition, and you're not necessarily in the church anymore, and you're not necessarily operating based on the teachings of the Bible in the church.
Correct.
So I would say two things to that, right? Because I was raised in the church. Right? I mean, Pastor Bullock, Reverend Bullock, Deacon Bullock, you know, Sister Bullock. My mom was the church clerk and treasurer, you know, all that, right? Yeah. So to some extent, it's still in you. Right? Do unto others as you have others do unto you. You heard that before?
Golden rule.
Right. Do you kind of live like that?
Yeah.
Right.
There's certain things I follow from there, and it just rubbed off. Like, all right, cool.
So there are a lot of elements of the church teaching, the Bibles and things like that, that is universal and good.
Yeah.
Right? And you were trained in that.
Yeah.
So to that extent, that's in you. But at the same time, you walk in your journey of discovery. So that's the piece that I always tell people is you walk on a journey.
Yeah.
There are many ministers who used to be pimps, drug dealers, drug addicts, theft, gangsters, murdered people, all that, right? And now they're not that anymore.
Yeah.
So they walk their journey to get to where they are to be those ministers. And then, you know, we got the bad ministers, right? But the point is, there's a lot of ministers that are out there that are good. They have the right spirit. You know, Pastor D of my church, I don't want to shout. I don't want to shout my church out, but because then all the other churches in the area go, mine's the best. But mine's is. But the point is, I don't go there all the time.
Right.
But there was a time when I went every Sunday when, you know, I had my family, my children, and I wanted them to have that exposure. But Pastor D has been solid.
Okay.
All of the time, right? You know, just like Pastor Wesley, right? I mean, they're human beings, they're men. I mean, you know, Pastor D is Omega Psi Phi, Pastor Wesley is Kappa. And so, but the point is their spirit.
Yeah.
And I love his spirit, you know, and he's the kind of man that I learn so much from. I get energy from, and I listen to him, but I'm still who I am, just like who he is. Right. And I'm walking my journey. And so my journey allows me to collect experiences to become the best version of myself. His journey. I mean, he pledged cute. So he wasn't always, So the point is that each one of us have to walk our journey.
Right.
But sometimes, like they say, you can leave God, but God never leaves you.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right? But then we get into a whole different religious element of it. But back to the forgiveness piece, that whole foundation inside of you, that energy inside of you, is what you are protecting, your life, like living life. You're living life. So do you live life negatively or do you live life positively? And we do both. We go into both camps.
Right.
But what allows you to live life more positively and less negatively? In the Bible, it talks about forgiveness because it's trying to move your energy from negative to positive. You're mad at this person, you hate this person, you did this, and you're just always talking about Mark, Henry, Matthew, Luke.
Yeah.
You're talking about all these people.
Yeah.
And therefore, all that energy is negative, right? And so the Bible teaches you to forgive so that you're not doing wrong.
Right.
And then the same thing about forgiving yourself, right? You are constantly doing that sabotage thing to yourself. And the Bible tells you to stop sabotaging yourself. Forgive yourself instead of sabotaging yourself. So again, that's why I said it's a term, it's a word, but it has a powerful meaning to whoever's using it.
Yeah, depends on who's it. Yeah.
And so if you are using that term, forgive, and it means something to you, and it works for you, well, who am I to tell you that that's wrong?
Facts.
Or that doesn't work?
Facts.
I can say anything I want to say about me. And to that point we mentioned earlier, but who are you to tell me to forgive somebody based on my experience when I have it from a different perspective, unless you are willing to tell me, friend, what can I do today to be where I want to be tomorrow? But you got to get in there and show me and everything else. And so, because if I don't understand that word forgive the same way you understand that word forgive, you telling me to be like Guten Tag, or Buenos Dias, or Como está, or Assalamu alaikum, or Buongiorno, or Jumbo. Now, I just said hello in many different languages. If you don't know those languages, then you don't know what I just said.
Right.
If I said Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, headache. If you don't, you're like, what the heck did you just say? That's the same thing as I say to you, you need to forgive. Because you don't understand what the word really means.
Facts.
If you don't understand the word really means, then you don't understand.
Facts.
So I think therein lies where so many people are not as cognizant of the impact of saying to somebody, you need to forgive yourself, or you need to forgive them. To your point earlier, they're transposing all of their elements and feelings and everything onto you, like suck it up, right?
Yeah.
And so if you don't understand the context, then you don't understand it. And this is the hurtful piece. Because there are so many people hurt. That's the whole purpose of forgiveness, is to move from negative to positive.
Yep.
So you can feel better, right? And so if you don't understand that word or all of the things associated with it, then you're on a journey and you're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I can't force you to forgive.
Right.
People try.
Yeah.
They try to force somebody to forgive. They try to force somebody to forgive yourself. I want you to forgive yourself. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna perform this, exorcism. And get that all that out of there and make you forgive yourself, right? I just made it worse. You know what I'm saying? And so, I think and you came up with the subject forgiveness and the scope of how we're doing this. I think it's important for people to address it from the external perspective
and internal
of what they believe and don't believe, and the internal perspective of what they believe and don't believe, but also focus on the outcome, the result.
Yep.
You know, when you are finished doing whatever you're doing, how are you tomorrow?
Yep.
How are you next week?
Yep.
How are you next month?
Exactly.
How are you next year? Are you much better now?
Yep.
Are you in a better place? Are you more productive? Are you smiling? Are you happy? Do you have joy? Do you have peace? Because if you don't have joy, peace, and happiness, and you done forgave everybody for a whole year, and you forgave yourself, and you still don't have joy, peace, and happiness,
then you're not just living life.
well, you're living life, but you're not living it with joy, peace, and happiness.
I guess, yeah, you
And some people may say they don't care, but you know what? That's their choice. So if you don't care to have joy, peace, and happiness, and you don't mind being miserable, and that energy space is where you want to dwell and stay and all of that, but don't be forcefully trying to bring me to have forgiveness because it makes you feel good that I feel bad.
That's such a key thing, bro. Like, cause I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I find it very hard to forgive that person who belittled me. Like, and on top of that,
Not great again.
No, cousin.
Okay.
They didn't. The ninth grader, they didn't belittle me.
Okay.
They belittled all of Black America. Like every Black person. Oh God,
actually, they did not belittle all of Black America.
I mean Black people in general.
No, they only said words. Black America didn't hear what that person said.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You know, if they in Virginia, the person in Canada and Chicago, they didn't hear this, and that's the power of your own self that I'm saying.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
Like, I ain't here,
but I know
I'm Black America.
But his intention, though, like his intention was try to belittle.
Yeah, but what gives his intention acceleration, deceleration, or brakes? You do.
Yeah.
The fact that we're still talking about it now means you giving his intention acceleration. To some extent.
I was about to say, am I? Because I ain't. I just brought it up as like a nice little story.
But what's the impact to the audience, right?
Yeah,
you don't know.
That's fair. They probably think I'm just a little petty over here.
No, not necessarily. A lot of people probably saying, "Man, you should kick his ass," you know, or "I'm with you, man," because when I was in the ninth grade, or when I was at work, somebody did that same thing to me, man. So I'm with you. I feel you, bro, man. He just disrespected the whole Black race. You know what? We should go get him.
I'm not saying that. I'm just that's why I didn't list off no names. I ain't trying to get.
But that whole energy space, right?
Yeah,
sucks you in, and now you're in.
Yeah.
And who did that?
I guess me, because I brought it back up.
But it was initiated by somebody that had no energy, no power until you gave energy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and
true.
That's the hard part about growth and development and maturity.
Yeah.
Getting there.
No, that's true. Because end of the day, you got to have lessons learned from anything that you do.
You're going to have, man.
Yeah. Like
every day.
Every single day. So like with my lessons, some
of them are so painful, man.
Yeah, but I will say this though. I think going forward, I am going to be trying harder to forgive people. Not at the expense of my own, joy, peace, and happiness.
You're going to try harder to forgive people. What are those tasks, activities, and actions that you can intentionally do to back up and qualify your statement of trying harder to forgive people?
I think making sure I actually communicate and get a sense of where people are.
So you got to talk to them.
I would have to. I'm also thinking, though, the people who I'd be apologizing to or having apologized to me, they have talked to me before. I've talked to them before. So it shouldn't be that hard. It's not like it's going to be out of the blue. These are people who I'm caring about, right? I also want to care about everybody in life.
But what about the self-talk piece? What are the tasks, activities, and the actions associated with the self-talk piece?
With myself?
Yeah.
That one,
because that's the maturity level in order to do that.
I think you have to seek out mentorship and like good counsel. Because like you said, you don't know what you don't know. So if I'm learning from other people and I say, oh, I didn't know this, like I messed up here. All right, well, like that would be one. Just make sure I communicate, and then also just have conversations like these whether it's with you or somebody else. It doesn't have to be recorded. Like I talk with people about some stuff all the time, but I think that is the route to go because I want to be more honest with myself too, and I have been. But you can always improve.
So what we just did there was an accountability piece, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's one thing to say something. It's another thing to hold yourself accountable for what you say in order to move further.
Exactly.
In order to make progress.
Exactly.
So many people talk a lot of shit and don't back it up with facts. So therefore, me and my brother Calvin say, man, you know, your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you say.
Right.
In other words, you're just talking shit, but your actions are louder.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason I did that. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I did because it's about accountability.
On the spot right now. It's like, yeah, we do.
We do. But I'm careful not to take you down a certain path that the audience, y'all don't need to know everything. All right? You're not going to know everything. You don't need to know. Like, you know, everybody wants to know, you know, is Taylor Swift getting married now, right?
I mean, she could be. I don't know, but I also don't care as much too.
Exactly.
Because that's not my business. Like Taylor Swift, she cool. You know, I guess shout out to Kanye. I'm a Kanye fan, so I guess you know, hopefully they bridge that gap. That's about as far as it goes, Reggie. Like it's nice
to bridge that gap
because I know
there's a forgiveness piece between Kanye.
I mean, so there probably should be. I know they.
You saying it should be, or are they saying it should be?
I haven't done as much research. The last time I really followed them was when Kanye did the move to Taylor on stage. Right. And he was like. You know what I'm saying? But I think they did link up afterwards or something was said after. I do not quote me on this. I said, I think. So it just goes to show you, I don't follow Taylor Swift as much. I'm not trying to say I don't care. I'm just not trying to get into their business.
You know, like, I'm in agreement with that, right? Because they're human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, I get she's a celebrity star, singer, and all that stuff, right? But so what?
I mean,
right? She's a person who's living her life. Like we talk about living life, right? She's living life. Yeah. All of the celebrities and sports people and musicians and artists and and business folks that are at a level that we respect and admire and sometimes envy, right? They're still just people.
Yeah.
And to that extent, do I put a lot of my energy into wanting to know everything about their life?
Probably not.
Or do I live my life and have joy, peace, and happiness to do my thing, regardless of them. You know, and I ain't gonna say this in a pejorative manner about Taylor Swift, but I'm gonna use her as an example. If I never heard of Taylor Swift ever in my life, if I never heard her music ever in my life, and if I never even experienced any of the things that she does, now I'm a DJ, so you know it's kind of like oxymoron I have her. But the point, if I never did, what's the impact on my life? Zero.
Oh my God! So it does not matter. It's cool she's with Travis Kelce though.
But the point is, if I'm putting energy into following her and seeing what she do, she's with him. You know, I want to get tickets now. Da, da, da. Now, what's the impact on my life? Significant, because I'm now gauging my activities and actions based on Taylor Swift, who does not know me, but now I'm doing all this other stuff because of her.
Yeah.
So therefore, who has control? She does. She doesn't even know me.
Right.
All I'm saying, and I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, it's great to be a fan. It's great to
you can be a fan.
It's great to do all that stuff, but to the extent that you have some level of control and you're not out of control,
exactly,
that this is sucking you in.
Exactly, just like the Larsa and Marcus Jordan situation. Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, exactly. On the last one, like we had good conversation about that.
You had some energy on it.
That picked me up a little bit.
Was that for the camera or was that you really?
No, that was just genuine. I promise you, that was just genuine. But I'm also not studying that story either. That was the first time I've talked about it on camera. Even on my show, it's not up there.
What show do you have?
Get a Bucket Podcast. Sponsored by Wilder Entertainment LLC. You know, that's how we get out there. Just you know what I'm saying? We're moving up in the world, sponsors and everything.
This ain't his only podcast.
Yeah, we trying to move. We trying to move out here. But we talked about that. But it was entertaining. Yeah, you can read over the story a little bit. I don't want to study it. My life is not swarming, or it's not revolving around this story. Same thing with the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift thing. So again, it's nice, it's cool, it's a good story, entertaining. But it's entertainment. That's what it's supposed to do.
Well, 100% of everything that we just talked about has an impact on 1,440. Everything that we talked about, whether it be your energy, forgiveness, doing stuff, is 1,440 minutes in a day.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those minutes do you use productively to do what you want to do to get to where you want to be tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you give that 1,140 minutes on a larger percentage to other people?
Exactly.
So to the extent somebody else is controlling your brain,
Mm-hmm.
they're controlling your 1,440 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
To one extent, somebody curses you out, yells and screams at you, or calls you the N-word, or a front on the black pop, and you just got all this energy in there. Well, now part of your 1,440 minutes is going in that direction.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get A's, you're trying to get a 4.2, as a senior in college,
Mm-hmm.
then you're trying to get your master's degree and your doctor's PH or JD or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and you're trying to open up a business,
mm-hmm.
which is, a huge lift, right? You're trying to be a good parent.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to write a book.
Yep.
You're trying to get certifications. You're trying to clean your house, do yard work, and wash your car, and sew some clothes together to make a suit. These are other things that want your 1,400 minutes as well. So now the choice is, where do you put that 1,440 minutes and for what purpose? And that's where I was saying earlier, this forgiveness thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, when you say the word, do you still have all that energy in that direction? And if so, then you should put your energy into learning about the various things that strengthen your brain,
mm-hmm.
which is a muscle, to understand the things which you do not.
Mm-hmm.
So that now the word forgiveness has a different meaning, closer to what other people think it means. But just saying the word, you say the word strength.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you strong?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
So you say the word forgiveness. You say the word forgiveness. Does that cause you to forgive?
No.
Exactly. You say the word fast. Does that cause you to run fast?
No.
Or be fast? No. So there's a lot of action that needs to occur in order for you to be strong. Because you're not here to play, dream, or drift. You got hard work to do and heavy loads to lift. You shun not the struggle, because it's God's gift. Be strong, be strong, be strong. Now, those are words.
Facts.
But how do you translate those words into reality? The same thing with forgiveness,
mm-hmm.
and the same thing with that 1,440 minutes.
That's fair.
Do you control your brain? Do you control your 1,440 minutes? What are you doing with that 1,440 minutes to strengthen your brain?
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. And you could get even more detail with it too. And 525,600 minutes. Hey, I'm just saying. But no, like
that's a good song.
That is. I ain't gonna lie. When you first mentioned, I was like,
all right. So
it's been bumping in my head the last 2 minutes. I promise you. But no, you gotta you gotta make sure you're, I guess, you're planning out your days properly, because going back, I guess, kind of tying back all the episodes that we've done, right? You got intelligence, hustler, you got building the foundation and expanding upon it.
Say it again.
Intelligence, hustler, intelligence, building a foundation and expanding upon the foundation,
and forgiveness
now. And I think all of those wrap in nicely, because they still fall into planning. You got to think ahead, but you also got to pay attention to what happened in the past. Lessons learned, because you're not going to get where you want to go if you don't follow what happened in the past. But that's also not just yourself too, though. That's other people's lives. So like in stories that you've told me about, I try to get lessons learned. In stories where an 18-year-old is telling me about some things, I'm trying to have lessons learned. So I don't want to have too many forgiving moments, whether it's myself or that I'm apologizing to somebody else.
That's profound. I don't know if you realize how profound that was. You just said it. I don't want to have too many forgiving moments. That's powerful. Because some people don't care.
But I think
you actually said that consciously, which means, how do you decrease having too many forgiving moments? How do you put the action in.
I guess just
so that you don't have too many forgiven moments.
Just do. Like, you got to try, and then end of the day, know you're going to fail, but you're going to have to keep going. So I guess for me, it's always just to keep going piece. Like, I keep telling myself, Stephen A. is 50 something, and he started his job when he was around 20, 30 something. So I keep having to tell myself, it's 20 years down the road that I really have to care about. I have to care about now. But like, I'm focusing on 20 years down the road.
That's mature.
Because again, that's somebody who I want to be. I want to be in his role, but I also want to still.
But when you focus on that, right? Do you have a list of all the steps that you need to take, or you just focus?
So I'm just focused. I haven't written any steps down and say, okay, he did this. Okay, I need to do this, because I also know that that's his journey.
My journey. That's
the reason why.
So you can focus, right? Mm-hmm. But then there are actions.
I could do a little bit better in terms of writing stuff down. I have goals.
Writing it down is strategy and planning. Mm-hmm. But then there's the execution.
The execution piece, I ain't gonna hold. Sometimes I slip up on.
Right.
But that's also because I have so much plans, and it's like I don't do a good enough job with creating a team to then delegate. So that's that next step for me personally, is to get that team. Because if I had a team with all the resources, I swear for you, First Take would not be messing with me on everything. But hi everybody, how y'all doing? Hope y'all have a movement. But yeah, they wouldn't be messing with me at all, bro. But again, it's just like that planning piece. That's what, like that delegation, that getting the necessary team.
1,440 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
maximizing.
Exactly. So because like right now, I can come up with skits. I can come up with topics that I can talk about with people about sports. I can talk about people with their jobs and interview them. But who gonna edit that? And then who gonna pay for all that? Like, because it's either I do it and that's more time, or I pay for it, but then I got to do something else like to make up that. So it's just like, where do I? And then if someone else does the edits on the video, I don't like it. I know I can do it. So like, what am I pissing me off for? Like,
so I think about the thousands of hours that I've edited.
Oh my God!
I mean, I've been DJing since I was 12, and we did it on cassette tapes.
Yeah.
So every mistake you had to start all over and do straight 80 minutes or 70 minutes or 190 minutes nonstop straight through flawlessly. And then the video stuff came out, right? Because there were videos back then. Yeah. And now, like when I'm on the different programs doing the video edits, what starts off as 1 hour could be 4 days later, just getting halfway through it.
Easy.
And then you sit back and listen to it and like,
yeah,
you know.
And that's not even talking about the rendering possibility that might mess up. Like,
yeah. So I get it. But to your point, if you hand it off to somebody else and they don't bring it back at the standard, which we talked about early at the beginning, if the standard is not there, then they're not ready. To be the succession. Thing that we talked about.
Exactly. But yeah, we always try to make sure all the conversations, ladies and gentlemen, come back full circle. Whether it's for this episode, whether it's in the past, like everything builds upon one another, like we said in the last one. So I hope you guys have been listening.
That's just living, right?
That is true. So I hope y'all have been listening, because we've been dropping some nuggets. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, outside of I didn't talk about everything I want to talk about today. Outside of the flowers part, which I don't know if you got anyone to get flowers to today. If not, that's no problem. We can always do that on the next one. I'm just asking.
No, you're the one that came up with that last time, and I gave Will Calloway flowers.
Do you want to do one every episode? That's my question. Should we do one every episode?
I'll leave that to you, because a lot of times you come up with the answer and you put it in a Socratic method, like I'm supposed to answer the question that I asked, and I want the one who even asked the question. So the Socratic method would technically be, what do you think?
I'll say this. If I had to give anybody flowers right now, it's kind of a person who's been kind of inspirational over the years. Give a shout out to Oprah. You know what I'm saying? That is someone I'm trying to be like when I get older. Like, I know people say that, and it's like, nah, you trying to be better. I kind of want to be like Oprah. Like, I want to be like, oh, you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. Like, see how generous that seems? Like, so like, and just the good work she's done. Yeah, I'm sure she's had some issues back in the day, or even now today. But when I hear Oprah's name on a consistent basis, what I think of and what I hear is power. Like, she owns her own network and named it OWN. So, I mean, and she's inspiring me, a black boy from Fayetteville, North Carolina, who was born in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate moments like that. And I don't think people like that get too many flowers.
That makes sense. And I agree. I think I talked about her with someone else, just in terms of all of the girls that we talked about in an episode of all of the girls that she's taking care of over in Africa and for the rest of their life, right? In that line, I would give flowers to two organizations. One organization is AAEFA, and the other organization is BIG. AAEFA stands for African American Federal Executive Association. BIG stands for Blacks in Government. The leadership of those two organizations, and I want to say institutions, but they're really nonprofit organizations, sole purpose is to change the culture of government from being a traditional white male dominated environment to being diverse with equity and inclusion of African Americans and people of color, right? It started off being about African Americans, but now we have, Asians, Latinos, and other folks in both organizations. But it is the leadership who tirelessly works 7 days a week, all day, all night. I mean, I don't want to call out names, but Tyra is retired from the government, and she works full time. Bill Boston, I said the full name, I said Bill. He works full time for the sole purpose of mentoring young African American leaders to grow up in the government, to be leaders, senior executive service, and run the government, right? Condoleezza Rice is an example of that. I talked about how Stedman talked to us. He was the last keynote speaker, but Colin Powell was the keynote speaker before him, before he died, right? So this is the level. And if it wasn't for these two organizations, and many more, I mean, I'm a life member of NAACP, right? But if it wasn't for these kind of organizations, none of us as African Americans could achieve the things that we're achieving now, because we're standing on the shoulders of giants who went before us. And again, I mean, I'm from the projects, the hood, 703 Jessup Place, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19121, right? And so we in the gang, they'd be like 12P. But the point is, it's because of these organizations that provided a pathway for me to be where I'm at. And that's another organization in the government called Pathway, right? Pathway. For young people to have a pathway into government.
That's very benefit.
And then for people in the AAEFA program to mentor these young people to finally get into the AAEFA program and BIG, Blacks in Government. And then from there, become senior leaders and running the government at the highest level.
Training for leadership.
Right? More than just training for leadership, but it's mentoring, it's training, it's educating, it's developing, and it's sponsoring them for leadership. So I want to give flowers to all of them. And I'll even say this, in these organizations, it's 80% plus Black women running it. Literally. It's when I'm in the room, it's a handful of fellas in a room full of ladies. And so if I were to pitch marketing, recruitment, I would say, fellas, brothers, look up AAFEA, AAFEA, Google it, and BIG, Blacks in Government, African American Federal Executive Association, and join. It may cost like $125 a year, right? So people, man, I'm driving this Mercedes, it's BMW, I got a suit. Man, a year's membership costs less than 2 weeks worth of gas money. But it does so much more for our people that allows people like me and you and others to grow up and become executives and leaders. And so just be a member and get involved. But the point is, I want to give them flowers, man, because they deserve them and can't give enough of them.
I appreciate that.
That's what flowers say.
Okay. All right, that's cool. I got to do one more because I definitely forgot to say the last one too also. But I got to give a shout out. I wore the jersey last time. I got to give a shout out to Natasha Howard. Make sure the camera heard me. Natasha Howard, you know what I mean? Because she didn't have to do what she did for me.
What she do for you?
I made a video on YouTube. You know, I was highlighting a couple of WNBA players. You know, went off their highlights, was just giving a little commentary. If you want to go check it out, GABPod on YouTube. But she actually took the video off of YouTube, like recorded on her phone, and then put it on her page. And this was months ago. But again, I just want to say I appreciate you. And ever since, she's been relatively supportive. Then I made another video. It was the same thing on YouTube. I just made it so that it's in a better viewing. And I put it on IG for her. And then she shared it on her page. So right now she has 2 videos.
Does she follow you?
She follows me.
Okay.
We trying to make a little networking connection. I'm gonna try to get. I want to get on the show.
Your craft and what you're doing.
She does. And like when she first followed me, you know how people usually be like, "Oh, come on the show." No, I hate that. Like, I want you to have a genuine connection with me. I want us to be actually friends, like cordial. You know what I mean? So hopefully one day we can get her on the show and talk about some good stuff.
Where does she live?
She out in Texas. Like she on the Dallas Wings. Yeah. Or I could fly out that way because I went out to Houston before, and like where her team is, it ain't that far. So like I could make it work. But again, I need her to be more comfortable with me. Just saying, hey, y'all, I'm going to show up to block. Oh, he a stalker. Like, that sounds a little terrible. See, I ain't going to pull up on you like that. But I do want to give you.
What kind of flowers you want?
Just an appreciative flower. Just an appreciative bunch of flowers. Because, again, she did not have to showcase my video on her page. Like, she commented on the video. And at first, it was like on YouTube. And at first, I saw the name. And I was like, that could be anyone's account. And then it just so happened that she shared it. And then after that, like that video kept getting likes. Yeah. So and again, I don't want to lose that connection. I also don't want to abuse that connection as well. Right. So, but I just wanted to say thank you again. It was months ago, but like still that meant a lot to me. And we're the same age. So it's not like I'm not trying to put on a pedestal. I'm not trying to fanboy. I'm just saying, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I know. So. And
she's a human being, right?
Exactly.
She's a person like everybody else, just living life. And she saw it, and she was probably thankful, just like you're thankful, because she's a human being.
Exactly.
I mean, I like that. That's good energy.
That was. But I think that about closes off the show. We apologize for having to end it, though. See what we did there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, Carol Burnett, you know who she is?
I don't, actually.
Of course not, man. She old enough to be your great-great-grandmother.
That might be.
She was a comedian, and at the end of her show, she would say something to the tune of, I'm so glad we had this time together just to laugh and sing a song or two. And before you know it, comes the time you have to say so long. Anyway, they made a whole thing that every time they closed the show, that there was that jingle and the cast would come together and sing that.
That's funny.
So we got to figure out what we're going to use to close the show.
Might try to do that. Might try to come up with a little jingle.
What do you say for your Get a Bucket show?
Please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. This is Reggie. We're the host of Just Living Life. So hope you all had a good one and take care.